Hello, and welcome to the new Monitoring Observation Tool, Module 1, Transitioning to a New QRIS System. This is part of the Tennessee Department of Human Services Child Care Licensing. This training is designed to provide an overview of the new QRIS system in Tennessee. Since the fall of 2020, Tennessee has been utilizing a temporary assessment tool as we awaited the new QRIS system. This training will explain the new monitoring observation tool, how it will be used in DHS licensed child care agencies, and how educators can prepare for their upcoming observations. The training will be offered in 3 modules. Module 1, this training, explains the transition and new tool. Module 2 takes an in-depth look at the scoring components related to teacher-child interactions. Module 3 will be dedicated to the health and safety elements of the new scoring tool. There will be an infant-toddler training of modules 2 and 3 for educators of infants and toddlers, as well as a preschool school-age training of modules 2 and 3 for educators of older children. Module 1, this training, applies to classrooms of all ages in both center-based and family group childcare settings. So why a new tool? The previous assessment tool began being used in the state of Tennessee in 2001. And since 2001, we have seen quality childcare improve across the state. We have seen childcare services through DHS funded support provide wonderful opportunities that have expanded the profession and supported our earliest learners. With that growth has come invaluable feedback from our educators across the state. And as with everything, Tennessee recognized that change was needed to support our educators after 2 decades of the previous system. Tennessee was already in the process of exploring new assessment options when we entered the pandemic during 2020. And this unexpected pandemic in many ways provided opportunities to make changes sooner than expected. The use of the environment rating scales was halted in the summer of 2020. And a temporary tool has been used in the interim. The Department of Human Services held several focus groups across the state to explore the needs of child care agencies. They also explored options being used in other state systems. And bringing together all of the information that they collected, this new monitoring observation tool and QRIS process was created with the educator in mind as a way to support high quality child care, support educators providing services, support Tennessee families, and of course, supporting Tennessee's children at the center of it all. So what are the benefits of the new tool? Well, the new tool will provide an overall picture of quality year-round, rather than the previous assessment, which was a snapshot of 3 to 5 hours in one day. This will now provide an opportunity for the DHS licensing consultant using their year-round monitoring visits to provide a year-round picture of what's happening in your child care agency. And this new tool places equal importance on both the health and safety as well as the teacher-child interactions happening in the early care classrooms. We know that both of these are important to child development. So how will the new tool look and how will it work? There will be 4 quarterly monitoring visits each year, and these will be conducted by your DHS licensing consultant. Each of these quarterly monitoring visits will occur at different times of the day, and the licensing consultant will want to see different age groups observed from visit to visit. 3 of those quarterly monitoring visits will be announced, and 1 of those quarterly monitoring visits will be an unannounced visit. Each time that the licensing consultant comes to visit, they will be looking at 2 components to score. The first being health and safety component, and the second being a teacher-child interactions component. The scores of each of those components will be brought together for a total of 100 points each visit. During that visit and after the licensing consultant has scored, the licensing consultant will meet with the agency and discuss results, make suggestions for improvement, offer opportunities for further training or coaching, and allow the agency to ask questions. Then the scores of those 4 quarterly visits through the year will be averaged together for an annual score that will be shown on a scorecard that is posted in the facility for family and visitors to view. Let's talk a little bit more about the health and safety component, which has 4 elements. The supervision practices, facilities, and equipment element considers general supervision of children, the materials and space provided for child play, and maintenance of facilities and the equipment used by children in the child care environment. These items are rules requirements which have always been monitored. They will be familiar to the child care agency. The record keeping element will be a review by the licensing consultant of the staff and child records, including attendance records, financial records, medication, and transportation. The healthy weight and disease prevention element will be a review of food storage procedures, menus, opportunities for both rest and active play that encourage both large and small motor development, screen time, and illness prevention. The organizational structure element will include family communication and involvement, staff qualifications, accreditation, staff training, and program policies. And while this is only a brief list of what is included in each element, we encourage educators to attend Module 3 of the new Monitoring Observation Tool training for an in-depth look at the health and safety component. Module 3 is offered on the 10-step training calendar with Tennessee Child Care Resource and Referral for infant toddler educators as well as for preschool school-age educators. And to see that training calendar, to register for a training, you can go to www.tnccrr.org. One of these 4 elements in the health and safety component will be scored each quarterly visit, so that by the end of the year, all 4 elements will have been scored once each. Some indicators in the health and safety component are considered critical. Included in the critical items are teacher-child ratio, safe sleep, supervision, and transportation, because we know that these are critical to the safety of our young children. Critical indicators are scored every visit by the licensing consultant, and they are gone into much more detail in Module 3. Then in addition to the health and safety component, the second component is the teacher-child interactions component. The teacher-child interactions component will be scored every visit in one chosen classroom. The licensing consultant will choose a classroom based on the age group of children in the agency. If multiple age groups are in the agency, so for example, if there are infant, toddler rooms, preschool rooms, and school-age rooms, then by the end of the year, after 4 quarterly visits, all of those age groups will have each had 1 observation. If there are multiple classrooms in an age group, so for example, if there are 2 infant rooms, then the licensing consultant and the agency director will conduct a random selection to choose which infant classroom will be observed on that visit. Once all age groups have been observed, if there are still quarterly visits remaining in the year, the licensing counselor will select from a previously observed age group to observe again. And if there are other classrooms in that age group, they'll choose a different classroom. So for example, if an agency has only preschool and school-age classrooms, then on quarterly visit 1, they may observe a preschool room. On quarterly visit 2, they will observe a school-age room. On quarterly visit 3, they will again choose either a preschool or a school-age room for observation. If there are multiple rooms of that age, they will observe in a room that was not previously chosen. If there is only one classroom in that age group, that classroom will be observed again. Each observation should last between 30 to 45 minutes. The licensing consultant will be looking for a specific list of indicators related to the elements in the teacher-child interactions component. If indicators are not observed, there is the opportunity for the educator to meet with the licensing consultant following the observation for an interview. And during the interview, the educator has the opportunity to share anything that may have not been observed during that time frame. Examples of items in the teacher-child interactions component include enriching conversations between educators and children, opportunities for play with children, and the use of a variety of materials to extend the learning. While this is only a brief list of what is included in this component, we encourage educators to attend Module 2 of the new Monitoring Observation Tool for an in-depth look at the teacher-child interactions component. Module 2 is also offered on the Tennessee Child Care Resource and Referral website on the 10-SEP training calendar for infant-toddler educators as well as for preschool and school-age educators. So how will this new tool be scored? There will be indicators within each element, and the indicators include required evidence that must be observed if applicable. If not observed, a teacher interview is conducted, and this will give the opportunity for the teacher to share any of the practices that are occurring in their classroom that they can share to provide the licensing consultant with an overall picture of the quality and the educational enriching experiences that they're providing with children. Every indicator can either be met or not met. There is no partial credit given. However, only indicators that are applicable to the age group will be scored. You would not be deducted credit. You would not be deducted if an indicator did not apply. So let's look at this scoring example. This is for element 1, early learning activities and routines. The element and indicator is 1.1, inclusiveness, choice, and balance of teacher and child initiated activities. Opportunities for children to feel motivated to explore and learn. In this example, the licensing consultant will be looking for all children to be included in a wide range of activity choices that support free play. Each item listed under required evidence must be observed. If something is not observed, it can be asked in an interview. And when all required evidence is met, then the rating score is marked as met, and the point value for this element and indicator is 2 points. Again, only items relevant to the age group are scored. So for example, if you do not have infants, you would not be discounted for elements and indicators referring to placing infants on their backs to sleep. However, in this example, if the licensing consultant observes that children are forced to participate in activities when they lose interest, then all of the required evidence is not observed. In this example, they met the first 3 examples of required evidence, but they could not receive credit for the 4th. This results in a rating of not met. And the point value would be 0. Remember that no partial credit can be given. Occasionally, child care licensing consultants are called out to child care agencies to address violations that may occur between monitoring visits. If agencies are found to be in violation of critical health and safety items or teacher-child interactions items between monitoring visits, they will have points deducted from the item where the violation was found on the next monitoring visit. So let's talk about the transition to the new tool. Current report card ratings were frozen on March 31st of 2022. And the new tool officially became the recognized tool on April 1st of 2022. All agencies will receive 1 to 2 quarterly visits with the new tool in preparation. So these next 1 to 2 quarters between April 1st and October will be used to prepare and to allow educators to experience the new tool and to ask questions of their child care licensing consultant. Then on October 1st, the new QRIS annual year begins, and all child care agencies will begin on a new program year at the same time. Beginning October 1st, each quarter, child care agencies will receive 1 monitoring visit. And by September 30th of 2023, a full year of using the new tool will have been completed, and all child care agencies will have received 4 monitoring visits with the new tool. Those 4 monitoring visit scores will be averaged together, and beginning in October, agency scorecards will be completed and posted. If you receive child care subsidy, your current ratings frozen on March 31st of 2022 will allow you to continue to receive the bonuses at that rate until the new scorecard is issued. New scorecards will begin being issued in October of 2023. We have several upcoming trainings that go in depth on each of the components. The teacher-child interactions component will be offered as Module 2 in both an infant, toddler, and a preschool school-age version. And we encourage you to take these trainings. They will be offered in Madison, Davidson, and Hawkins counties beginning the week of April 11th. And then by the end of April, beginning of May, they will be open to all child care agencies. And you can visit www.tnccrr.org for information on the TNCEP calendar and when those trainings are coming to your area. And then Module 3 will also be offered on that same training calendar. And Module 3 will go in depth on the health and safety component with a training specific for infants and toddlers and a training specific for educators of preschool and school agers. In addition, this training is being offered as a recorded training on our website so that you can go back and you can watch this again. So you may have questions and you'd like to know where you can find the answers to your questions. If you have questions about when to expect your first monitoring visit and when the tool will be implemented in your agency, you can contact your DHS licensing consultant for site-specific licensing information. If you have questions on how you can improve quality in your agency so that you can reflect that in your program scorecard, contact your local CCR&R coach for help with implementing quality practices. They would be eager to help you and have been trained on the new tool. I want to thank you for attending and viewing this training, and look forward to a new year with childcare licensing and what lies ahead. Thank you.